host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today is Dennis Zen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Collider Movie Talk. It's been a long, long week. I'm so glad it's Friday. A lot of crazy stuff happening. Civil War trailer drop. You guys launched the Schmoes No Show back up live last night. That was some craziness, especially with that celebrity dating game, impression game. Lots and lots of fun. But let's get on with this show.
Also joining us, Josh Macuga.
Hey guys, fresh off my loss of the celebrity impression.
Don't give spoilers.
Oh, my bad. Guys, it's Forrest Gump. How did he lose? Come on.
And also joining us, Kristian Harloff.
This summer, Dennis Tzeng takes us down a road to hell.
According to a report from Deadline, Daisy Ridley is at the top of the list to take the lead role of Lara Croft in the Warner Brothers and MGM's reboot of Tomb Raider. The newest reinterpretation based on the hit gaming series has been in the works for a while and is now gaining some momentum. Deadline sources do caution that it is still incredibly early in the casting process, but that Ridley's name is at the top of a short list of actresses the producers are considering. The new reboot will be directed by Norwegian filmmaker Roar Uthaug. A release date has yet to be announced. Dennis, thoughts on Daisy Ridley playing Lara Croft in a Tomb Raider reboot?
I think she would play a good Lara Croft, but I mean, there's a lot of people that could do that. I think Alicia Vikander, Felicity Jones, Lily James, a bunch of other actresses could fit that role. I played the rebooted version that came out in 2013, and it was a nice new kind of modern retelling, having her start from the beginning, her kind of like an origin story for her, and I like that. And Daisy really played kind of that type of role in Star Wars, so I could see a good fit. I've never seen a movie that the director, what's his name, Roar Uthaug. He did a movie called The Wave, which I think critically got a lot of praise to it, but I haven't seen it personally. What do you think, Josh?
This is one of those situations where you have the hot hand, right? She's coming fresh off Star Wars. Already everybody loved her. She was the breakout star, at least in my mind, of that movie. It almost feels like a square peg going in a round hole. Maybe go towards somebody that isn't so hot right now, that doesn't have a franchise behind it. Not that there's anything wrong with Daisy Ridley, but we've already seen Tomb Raider. We've seen Angelina Jolie crush that role. Was 2013 the last released Tomb Raider game?
No, they had one last year, but
Okay.
2013 was when they actually rebooted the franchise and kind of gave it a new look and feel to it.
Right. So I don't know. Is it a little too much of Daisy Ridley overconsumption kind of thing? I don't know. I mean, she'd kill it. We'd obviously know she'd kill that role. I'm so on the fence with this. I don't know.
I would just have to say this to you. Because I love this choice, but no, I understand what you're saying completely. But I think that I hope that that's the only casting list, is that list that you brought up there.
Dennis brought in hot.
Any one of those actresses that you brought up, I would be more than okay with. I think could absolutely. I like Lily James. I think I'd probably is the only one I might say I wouldn't be upset, but I'd probably take her off the list as opposed to Vikander and Felicity Jones. But listen, Felicity Jones is also going to have a big franchise with Star Wars as well, and Vikander, Oscar winner as well too. So
We're waiting for a franchise for her.
Waiting for a franchise for her. So I think Vikander would be a good choice, but I think Daisy really. So what? She's typecasted as a badass. Is that a bad thing? I think that we know that she could do it. We know that it worked in Star Wars, and this is a different character, and I think she looks like Lara Croft. And yeah. I mean, you side by side right there. So what I also think that it does, though, to whether or not it's well, is that too much Daisy Ridley because you're going to get her in episode 8 and episode 9? We know that for her to come into this franchise, Force Awakens, and after doing one movie that she was on set for 2 weeks, she had never done anything, and crush it the way that she did, let's see her acting chops. Let's see if she can make us say that's not Rey and that's Lara Croft. I would love to see them give her the opportunity to say that's the kind of actress she is. That's how she's going to get people to say, okay, that's she was able to make me forget. There are some actors and actresses that can do that. It's hard, but give her the shot. I think it's perfect.
Well, it's funny kind of what you're saying. It's is this too much Daisy Ridley? We have to remember, she's been in one movie, right?
But it was the biggest movie.
It was, but it's not like a situation, remember those years where damn,
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, why is Natalie Portman in 4 or 5 movies? Why is Kevin Hart in 7 movies this year?
Yeah.
She's been in one movie. It's just we think of it because there's so much hype and publicity around it. We talk about her all the time, but she was really in one movie. We're not getting her next movie until 2017.
True.
And then thereafter. So it's not like she's oversaturated. It's just because Star Wars is Star Wars, so you see her face everywhere.
Right.
I'd just like to point out two things. One, the first time Kevin Hart and Daisy Ridley have been mentioned compared in the same sentence. Thank you, David. And Lara Croft doesn't exactly say, like, show me your acting chops.
No, what I mean is not necessarily it does, because what you're doing is it's a completely different, it's a different character for as far as the background goes too. But what it's being able to show your acting chops to make me forget that you were Rey, because if she plays Lara Croft the same way she plays Rey and acts the same way she did, then it's like, okay, that's just the same character. But if her acting made her choices, because the character, it does show acting chops, because she's going to have to make choices to make us think differently. That's on her as an actress to do that.
Yeah.
Any chance, I know a lot of fans want this to happen, but the voice actress Camilla Luddington, I think is her name, that did the voice for Lara Croft in the new games. Any chance that she gets that role? Probably not.
Nah, they're gonna go recognizable face.
That's
Not necessarily a big star, but recognizable face.
Sort of like Broadway to movies. They rarely take the Broadway actor to the movie. A case in point why it didn't work was Jersey Boys. They took like that whole cast. Clint Eastwood tried to put the Broadway cast, and it kind of bombed.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
After finding their villain in Julianne Moore, Kingsman 2 is now looking to add another Oscar-winning actress to the mix. According to Deadline, Halle Berry is in talks to join the film, playing a top agent from the CIA. Berry will join returning star Taron Egerton as Eggsy, along with Moore. Writer-director Matthew Vaughn is set to return for the movie, which is based on the Mark Millar and Dave Gibbons comic book series of the same name. Shooting is set to begin this summer, but no release date has been announced. Kristian, what do you think about Halle Berry joining Kingsman 2?
I might be the only one. I don't really care. Halle Berry, she's a movie star for sure. She won the Oscar. I don't think she's the best actress, and a lot of times she's kind of phoned stuff in. I thought she was a terrible choice for Storm. Hey, let me do an accent. No, it's terrible. Just abandon it. And does she add anything? Do I get excited that she's part of it? No, I get more excited that Matthew Vaughn is back. But that being said, though, too, and I love Sam Jackson. When he was cast as the villain, I'm like, what's with that lisp? That looks terrible. And it was one of the best parts of the movie. So maybe it's a role that just kind of transforms Halle Berry, and I say, well, that was a stupid thing to say on Movie Talk. Dennis going to go back and edit that out, because like it's a matter of what she's going to bring to the table. She's been in Bond. She was okay in that. Yeah, she's a movie star. I don't necessarily see her as someone who just elevates the film.
Well, we've all said a lot of stupid things on Movie Talk that we wish we could edit out.
Right.
Yeah, I remember saying like something like, "Oh, Deadpool's never going to make over $50 million." I was wrong there. Josh, what do you think?
Again, I'm sort of with Kristian on this. Halle Berry almost seems like a product of those 90s superhero movies and those 90s Bond movies that were, you look back on them like sort of nostalgic. The Pierce Brosnan Bonds aren't the best, but they're not the worst. Halle Berry, I mean, we can't forget Catwoman. That's like...
I tried to, and you brought it up.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Again, she just doesn't really do much for me in these kind of roles. They keep like trying to force her into this, and it's just like... Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I guess I'm the only one here at the table that actually like this news. I mean, we don't know exactly the role she's going to play. It sounds like maybe like a CIA agent who probably will be like a rival to the Kingsmen at first, and then they team up together to take on Julianne Moore.
Unless she's a mole or something.
I don't know. I like that. If you look at her IMDb, it's funny because she hasn't really been doing a lot of movies lately. I think the last movie I saw her in was The Call, which I thought she was good in. I like that movie more than most people.
That hair was awesome.
But she's been doing a television series, Extant, which I've been hearing good things about. And it's funny how the landscape has changed with television, where an Oscar-winning actress is in this television series, and it's not that big a deal. Because, maybe 10, 15 years ago, it'd be like, oh, my God, your career is over. Yeah. And she can just hop right back into movies.
That's an excellent point, because now it's like TV, because, like you said, 10, 15, 20 years ago, TV was kind of taboo, as where now it's a stepping stone into greater things, because there's so much more you can do. You're not handcuffed just by the networks. You can really explore more and like basically make movies, whether it's on Netflix or Amazon or HBO or Showtime, wherever it is. There's so much more there. So I think that you're absolutely right.
You're almost getting more street cred for doing an awesome TV series than you are for going into like a superhero movie, or I don't want to call Kingsman a superhero movie, but it is a comic book based kind of movie. I don't think that she's gonna get much more street credit from, I guess, critics like us or people that want to see much more of like a substantial role. But sure, I think that you put Halle Berry in the right role, give her that opportunity again. I'd love to see what she does, because Monsters Ball, I mean, that's one of the greatest scenes in movie history, albeit as dark as possible. That's one you don't ever forget. That's stuck in the old brain hole.
Natasha, how do you feel about Halle Berry?
I'm with you, Dennis. I think it's great. Halle Berry's a former Miss Ohio USA, so she's a Miss USA sister. So go on with your bad self, kill it in this new film, and I'm excited to see what she brings to the table.
All right, what's next?
One of the hottest bidding wars in Hollywood has been happening over the past couple of days for the rights to the new book of David Grann, Killers of the Flower Moon, An American Crime and the Birth of the FBI. According to The Wrap, Leonardo DiCaprio, director J.J. Abrams, and Oscar-winning screenwriter Eric Roth are teaming up with Paramount Studios to adapt the book into a movie. The story about the mysterious murders of the Osage Indians tribe in Oklahoma, with the case being turned over to the newly formed FBI, has now reached a reported $2 million to secure the rights. Other bidders include George Clooney, who would direct, with Amy Pascal producing. As of this report, no deal has been reached. Josh, thoughts on this potential DiCaprio and J.J. Abrams team up?
I mean, that's sort of a dream scenario. It's one of those kind of team ups we've been waiting for and we haven't really seen at all yet. So... And Leo, what he did for Native Americans in Revenant wasn't a lot, but it showed a cool little part of Americana that a lot of people try and sweep under the rug, because it was one of the greatest tragedies that this country has ever partaken in. And he said something about it at the Oscars, and he said something about it at the Golden Globes. And obviously this is something he's passionate about. So if he's passionate about it, obviously George and Brad Pitt have to come and be passionate about it as well. The three amigos in doing these awesome, huge movies. You get J.J. Abrams involved, it's going to be a visual spectacle, and it's probably going to be done right. That being said, I love anything that we can go back and look at Americana that we haven't seen before. I know we've done a lot of FBI stories that haven't been the best, and we've done a lot of Native American stories that haven't been the best since probably Dancing with Wolves. So, that being said, put Leo in this again. I'd love to see something about this kind of thing. Trail of Tears hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, I'm excited about this team up as well. Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously hot off his Oscar for The Revenant. J.J. Abrams off, domestically the biggest movie ever. What's most interesting to me, though, is J.J. Abrams directing this type of movie. We haven't seen him direct that type of movie before. He's directed sci-fi epics like Star Wars and Star Trek, even his own Super 8. We had him do Mission Impossible 3, a crime drama. This is kind of out of his wheelhouse, and I want to see how he takes it. Like, we haven't seen him do something like this before. Christian?
We haven't seen him do something like this before in film.
Yeah.
Because Alias had a bit of
it was too wacky.
It was
though.
wacky.
That was wacky, man.
But even there were times in Lost, I know that he's producing a lot of that more, and some of it not even involved in it. But we know that he's familiar with that tone, even with him producing 10 Cloverfield Lane and things of that nature. It's still sci-fi and whatnot, but like they can get to this. He can hit drama, and he can, and working. I think what the key thing though is Leonardo DiCaprio, because I've said this before when we were talking about whether or not he's going to direct, and he said he's not really something he's into right now. The guy is one of the best producers out there right now. So for him to team up with J.J. Abrams, that is really that's something special. Now, the story though is just to be they're not with Clooney.
No, they're competing
against it. That to me, it's like that's fascinating because off of your point is that so both these powerhouse producer teams / movie stars are going after this thing, and DiCaprio's kind of gone after an attempt at this with Hoover, and that didn't work too well. No. So maybe this is kind of his redemption to do this all over.
J. Edgar.
Yeah, it's at Hoover.
The movie wasn't called Hoover.
No, I know, but it was about Hoover. I know who it was. But what was his last name?
Hoover.
Right, thank you.
Okay, now we're on to buy or sell.
Six
Natasha, what do
Flags
we
guy.
got up first?
All right, the first trailer for Tom Hanks' latest, A Hologram for the King, has been released. The movie, based on the Dave Eggers 2012 book of the same name, centers on an American businessman traveling to Saudi Arabia to sell his hologram idea to a wealthy monarch. The movie also stars Ben Whishaw, Tom Skerritt, and Sarita Choudhury, and is directed by Tom Tykwer and Ahmed Al-Ibrahim. The movie opens April 22nd. Dennis, buy or sell the new trailer for A Hologram for the King?
Oh, man, I have to sell this hard. I'm going to give this away for free. Oh, man, I love Tom Hanks, but this trailer's terrible. It's terrible. Starts off with that Talking Head song, and he's just like, I'm not familiar with the source material. Maybe the source material of the book is great, and there's a lot of stuff in there that we aren't seeing from this trailer, but this trailer looks like a throwback. It's got the voiceover in there. It's like, I don't know if you guys saw that Tom Hanks movie Larry Crown. It's got that type of feel to it. I just don't know. I don't know. It's coming on April, right? Why have we not heard about this movie at all?
It's Tom Hanks.
I know, it's Tom Hanks. So if they're not advertising this movie and marketing it, you know something's up, right? Kristian?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's up. First of all, it's a huge sell. And I'll tell you what's up is that the reason why is they just found it in a vault from 1997 because that's how this trailer is like. This summer, Tom Hanks lost his beach ball and now is selling houses and falling in love. It's like, what? Where did that come from? We haven't heard that guy. They never use that guy for trailers anymore. It was so outdated. The whole thing in the beginning of it, it was like they really. It wasn't even really Tom Hanks. It was like someone used a computer program and went back and made this weird trailer with a story that no one's gonna care about right now. It was who are they marketing this to in April? Like that's crazy. I cannot believe that this movie is coming out. It looks atrocious. And again, to quote the movie trailer guy, Tom Hanks in yet another misstep.
Josh?
I'm with you. I'd put it up on the free part of Craigslist. This is free stuff. Take this Tom Hanks movie. It looks like a combination of like Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, the Salmon Fishing in Yemen, Eat, Pray, Love, Larry Crown.
Right.
It's just like a bunch of these movies. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, sort of. Even though Whiskey Tango Foxtrot looked a little more exciting, because this doesn't look like it has any stakes at all. First of all, what is the hologram?
He's just selling a hologram
Technology.
system to a king for, who cares?
And they're like, oh, this desert's going to have buildings in it. You're like, yeah, it's called Dubai. Whoops-a-daisy. Right? And then, Tom Hanks comes in. He's like, my life's tough. And then he meets a woman and it's a forbidden love. But they'll fall in love because it's America. It's new stuff.
Tom Hanks eats a steak with his briefcase.
Watch in April. We watch it. Oh my God,
It was
guys,
so
this was
good.
the best
More
movie.
voiceover, please.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Tom Hanks gets a new sidekick who's also a taxi driver.
It's being directed by Tom Twyker, I think his name is. He co-directed Cloud Atlas with the Wachowski siblings. He also did Run Lola Run, which I really liked. But that it's going to be interesting how this movie is received and marketed as well.
Agreed.
All right, what's next?
After the whole world saw the new Captain America Civil War trailer, the cast and directors of the movie took to Tumblr for a Q&A session with BuzzFeed. While the appearance of Spider-Man dominated the first round of questions, talk soon led to many wondering what the outcome of Civil War would be for the entire MCU moving forward. Referencing the fallout that will happen for our heroes after Civil War, director Joe Russo set the stage for Captain America and the Avengers, saying, "There will be a long-lasting fallout from the events of Civil War, which will significantly alter the psychology of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If Winter Soldier was a political thriller and Civil War is a psychological thriller, then Infinity War will be something else entirely." Kristian, buy or sell these comments by director Joe Russo?
I'll buy the comments, but it's very similar to the comments they made like last week that there's going to be something that happens that sets the events in a different motion. It's just kind of like, it seems like almost like the answer that they're asking every time someone's like, what's different in this movie? That's the answer that they're giving. But I'm still going to continue to buy that these guys are so connected to what they're doing now and to Infinity War that they know the end game and that they have to play that end game. And they're going to use the emotion. And they're going to use. They're not just playing on the fact that you get to see your favorite superheroes punch each other in the face. There's more to it. There's way more to it, and you see that in this trailer yesterday. You see with their comments. So even though they're not brand new comments, I still buy what they're saying.
Remember that old game in arcades? It was like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
Remember that stand-up video game? That end shot of the trailer when they're all like either flying or jumping or shooting at one another. That was a pretty cool shot. I'll give you that. But I'm sort of with Kristian on this one. Like, it's like, okay, two guys fighting, now it's going to be this civil war. I would love to see the Marvel Universe kind of go down a little bit of a darker hole where everybody's fighting or like there's a lot of infighting. But then you run the risk of it just being like a loveless marriage where the mom and dad sleep in different beds, but they still live in the same house. I don't understand what like the direction is. Because you have to bring them back eventually. Mm-hmm. They can't just be like a civil war going the rest of the time and then divorce proceedings. I will say this about the trailer though. This is the first time Spider-Man has looked cool in like 7 or 8 years.
I personally, I wasn't on Movie Talk yesterday. I love that Civil War trailer. Yeah. It was exciting. I like the new look of Spider-Man as well, very old school. Yeah. I think they need to work on some of the CG on him though. But as far as the comments are concerned, I buy them because it's the Russo brothers. Normally, if there were different directors and they already kind of proved themselves with Winter Soldier, if it was like some new directors or someone else, I'd probably be like, I'm not too sure. Because a lot of times people that come into these like big budget movies, they talk about all these deeper themes and these deeper character development, and then you watch the movie and you're like, what the hell were they talking about? Right. Like this was just a popcorn flick. But with what they proved with Winter Soldier, I'm going to believe them when it comes to Civil War.
Well, I think it also because we know, at least, and even if you didn't read the comics of Civil War, we've been around it enough that there's some big stakes, unlike the stakes in the Tom Hanks movie. But there are some big stakes that happen. There's a reason. Even that first trailer that we saw, the full trailer to where Tony is saying, "So was I." That line, you said, okay, wait a minute, there are stakes here. Like he's got with the black eye, and he's fighting in yesterday's trailer with that shot of when
Don Cheadle.
No, Sebastian stands
the gun. He almost shoots him in the face,
and you see that recognition in
he's
Tony
shocked.
in his
He's
eyes.
shocked.
He's like, this is real. And so that's why I buy the comments, because it's a matter of they're really pushing forward here, and they have to, because it can't just be and now we're friends again. Right. They can't do that.
I feel like Infinity War Part 1 is where they're going to reassemble the team and maybe mend some of those wounds. Another interesting thing in that Q&A was they did say that Civil War is more of a departure from the comic books than Winter Soldier was.
Ooh, that's going to light up the boards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think as much as you think. No, because from everything that's happened because the Spider-Man had such a prominent role in the comics, and they've already said that it looks like that's going to be more towards Black Panther, but we know Spider-Man's still in the movie. I think that there's comic book fans also realize with the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, because there's been so many movies before them, that I think they have to be okay with a little bit of a departure.
Well, and also Spider-Man was a big pivotal role in the comic book because the secret identity thing was a main subject, where in this one it's not. And also in the comic book they had like, it wasn't what is it, like 5 or 6 people on each side in the movie. There's like dozens of people on each side in the comic book, so I can't
imagine
replicate
the writing of all of that. God, we got to get 12 people on a side. Oh my God, it's like Red Rover in a movie.
All right, what's next?
Focus Features has released its newest trailer for the next film from Leica Animation, Kubo and the Two Strings. The studio, which was behind Coraline, Paranorman, and The Box Trolls, is set director Travis Knight at the helm and features the voices of Matthew McConaughey, Charlize Theron, Rooney Mara, Ralph Fiennes, and George Takei. The action-adventure film takes place in a fantastical Japan and revolves around a young storyteller named Kubo who accidentally summons a spirit from the past and must join forces with Monkey and Beetle to save his family and solve the mystery of his fallen father. Kubo and the Two Strings opens in theaters this August 19th. Josh, buy or sell this new trailer for Kubo.
Guy
and the Two
over
Strings.
here in the yellow shirt.
Guy in the middle.
Wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins shirt.
Dude, that doesn't like. I'm buying this. This looks really fun. I've loved everything Leica has done, especially Box Trolls. When it first came out, I wasn't too sure, and then I watched Box Trolls again. There's just something really cool about what this studio does, different than Pixar, where everything kind of looks happy and lit well, and you know that. Whereas this one always has dark undertones and cool, like way off the wall animation and. The story behind it and everything else, this trailer really got me going. I'm psyched to see this.
I'm with you. I buy this a lot. I I like Leica animation. I wish they were more popular. To your point, they're not Pixar. They're not DreamWorks. It's not all pretty and nice. They kind of have a little more mature themes to them, and also the visual style with the stop animation, and it doesn't look as, I guess, kid friendly, and maybe that's why they don't make as much money. I think they produce a lot of these movies like Coraline and Paranorman and what was the last Box Trolls. They're around $60 million. They only make like 110 million worldwide. So they obviously are making some money if they're making more, but it's not kind of like these big juggernaut hits that like Pixar is doing. But I really like this trailer. I like the visual style of it. I like the story of it. The only thing is, why do in all these children's animations, the mom or dad has to die?
Yeah.
Like the parents are always like dead or gone. It's like, that's kind of a lot to take for a little kid to watch. Kristian?
Well, yeah, I'm going to buy it as well. Big buy. I like the voice talents behind hand. George Takei. Oh my. You gotta. Yeah, I absolutely love what I saw. But they've been killing off the parents since Bambi and everything, man.
I was traumatized when I was a kid when I saw that.
They've been wiping out parents in Disney movies for a long time, and Frozen, they're always wiping out parents. They love wiping out parents in Pixar, and they're doing it in this movie, and I'm all right with it because I think that it sets the tone. Visually, it looked great. I loved Paranorman. Loved it. I really enjoyed the Box Trolls too. I just think that people have gotten, it's just this style doesn't speak to everybody right now. I just think that people go towards the Pixar animation, Disney animation, and DreamWorks and all that stuff. I think that's just, when they see it, I'm not saying it is, but I think maybe people feel it's inferior to the other stuff, and they don't feel they want to spend the money on it because there's so much more. And it's completely not the case because these movies have so much heart. There's so much story, and they have really good voice talent as well too. But I really enjoy what I saw, so I buy it.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's not coming out till August.
Yeah, it kind of, what it looks like is kind of looks like Last Samurai meets Kung Fu Panda. A little bit darker, but with the animation.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna like this movie better than Kung Fu Panda 3.
Yeah.
All right, guys, now we're on to our weekly Friday segment called Box Office Predictions. This is brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. This is the segment where we kind of guess or predict the top 5 movies of this opening this weekend. Last week, I think Perry got 5 out of the 5.
Yeah, so we said that. Yeah, we said that we were going to do. We're going to start taking records, and we'll predict on Friday, and then we'll announce the winner next Friday. Perry starting out 1-0 here, and because she was I believe 5-5 as Riley told me before.
Okay, well, Josh, what's your predictions for this weekend?
Well, I think Deadpool's going to stay in the top 5. I think we're going to go. 1 is going to be 10 Cloverfield Lane. 2, Zootopia is going to stick around. 3, this Brothers Grimsby. I don't want it to do well. It just looks so dumb.
You'd actually really like it.
But it's really,
I thought it was okay, but I think you would love it.
So it's really stupid. So you'll like it. That's like Kristian saying.
like
It's a terrible, horrible movie, but you'll like it. Don't worry about it.
Do you like dumb comedies?
Yes, I love them.
See, I know him. He loves dumb comedies. So Let's Be Cops. He gave like 4.5 out of 5
I love Let's Be Cops. I'll watch it anytime. Brothers Grimsby, Deadpool, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Okay, I'm gonna go Zootopia number 1. I think it's gonna have a lot of return and a lot of. I still haven't seen it. I heard it's really good. You get the kid audience in there. I don't think 10 Cloverfield Lane's gonna do phenomenal business. I think it's gonna do all right. I think honestly, there's gonna be some backlash on that movie when it comes out.
You think so?
I think so. Having already seen it, and I like the movie. Deadpool, I have at number 3. London Has Fallen, I think, will stick around at number 4. And then I'll put the Brothers Grimsby at number 5. Kristian?
I have a very similar list. Just my 4 and 5 are different. But Zootopia, I agree, hands down going to be number 1. Again, it's the only thing for kids to see. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I have at number 2. Deadpool at 3. I have Grimsby at 4. And then I have London Has Fallen at the 5 spot.
Okay. All right, guys. Now, before we get on to the mailbag segment, I want to remind you that we're going to have live Twitter questions at the end of the show. You can tweet us at Collider Video, and Natasha will pick out a few. But for now, what's our lone mailbag question?
Our lone mailbag question is from Sandine Bobby Castiel, and he writes, "Hello, Collider crew. You guys are my daily addiction. You guys have often mentioned how January and February are the toilet bowls of movie season. But I would argue the true dumping ground is September, not just because of the quality of of the movies, but because of the lack of box office. September holds the lowest opening weekend of all 12 months, with it being Hotel Transylvania 2 with just under $50 million. Do you think with Hollywood starting to change things in January and February that September will follow suit? And are there any upcoming September movies that you guys that it's worth getting excited about? Thanks, and bring the filthy.
I'm kind of halfway with you, Sam Dean. I think it's less of a dumping ground and more of a ghost town. It's the period of time where the studios aren't releasing movies. It's too early for the Oscar kind of nominated movies that they want to get out there, which comes in October and mostly in November. December, you kind of get those family films, and you get big blockbusters like a Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which carries on through January and February. Now you had Deadpool in February killing it. So I think it's less of a dumping ground and just more of there's not much going on. On a personal note, September is usually whenever I take a vacation, usually September is the time where I aim for, because I know here at Collider we cover movies. That's the time where there's just not a lot of movies coming out, and it's easier for me to get away. Kristian?
Yeah, you know what it is, though, is that January is still the toilet bowl. Because January is just like, hey, let it loose. No one's looking. As far as
Isn't that when Pompeii got released in like
think
January?
So. It's horrible. But September's more like, because once you get to the end, the first 2 weeks in August, you're still getting summer releases. Then you start getting garbage in the end of August, and then September it's almost like, hey, go to the bathroom, and then but by the end of September it's like someone comes in with spray, because like you start
Light a match, Kristian.
Well, because you start to have some good movies come out towards, because that's when the Oscar pushes start to, you might get a couple quality movies. It's like the opposite of August, as where those first 2 weeks in August are usually, you still get some summer blockbusters and you get the crap at the end, and then the crap in the beginning of September, and then the good movies at the end of September. So I think that's kind of what it's been. Now, if studios are going to follow suit, like you're asking, I think that it's inevitable, because there's just so much coming out. Now, I don't think that you're going to have, it's going to be big blockbusters, but I think you might start have more stuff push. I don't think you're going to start following the same patterns that we have been seeing for the last 5, 10, 15 years. I think that they will start to change.
I think, first of all, congrats to Sam Dean. He made like 4 poop jokes in one mailbag tweet. The September should be a really good time to release movies. You got kids going back to school, so they're going to maybe like want to go on dates with girls and take them to a good movie. But you also, here's the other competition you have, especially in the States, is you have football coming back, and that ruins a weekend. You got college football on Saturday, you got NFL on Sunday. There's just a lot going on, but you do have that, like, you know, parents are putting their kids back in school. We got to do something on the weekend. I'm tired of them being around, you know, whatever. It should be the antithesis of what we're talking about. It should be out there. They should be making good movies in September. Like you said, I mean, we're trending towards every month being somehow profitable. But you're right. September is that forgotten month that we all, like, nobody, when you were in school, everybody hated September. Nobody liked September. You got to go back to school.
But it's also marketing money, too, because it's the same reason that you don't see them. You have to realize that the studios put movies out in January time because they feel that they're not going to do that well, and they don't have to spend that much money marketing them, so they put them there. And if they do, that's why a lot of horror movies land in January for sure. It doesn't cost very much, very little to market, very little to make. So if they make a profit off it in January, it's a win for them. But the same thing in September, that they're going to start using all that money for their big Oscar pushes a little later on down the line. So you'll see stuff in the end of September or the end of October. So the end of August and September, they've either spent all their money to market all their stuff that they have coming out in, you know, April through July. Now it's even March through August.
Yeah, I mean, you got Batman v Superman coming out in March.
Yep.
And, do you think the trend, though, like we had Kung Fu Panda, I think that came out in January.
Yeah.
And it did very, very well. Do you think there will be a trend now, maybe at least with kids movies, where they will start hitting up something like January?
There's been a couple of movies. There was a few movies that came out in January, because, you know, I've been very vocal about the fact that I think January has sucked, and the fans have let me know that, hey, you got Kung Fu Panda that made money, you had this that made money. There have been a few, so I think that the studios are definitely paying attention to that. You can capitalize, and I don't remember. Paddington might have come out in February of last year.
It was either late January or early February.
Yeah, it came out earlier, I think, in the UK, but it had hit the States in like January or February. So the kids' movies is a great point.
Back to school drama, a new genre we're creating for September. No? All right.
All right, guys, that's it for Mailbag. Now onto our live Twitter questions. You can tweet us at Collider Video. Natasha, what do we got?
All right, Taylor Petcher asks, am I the only one that felt Civil War trailer 2 and the Batman vs. Superman trailer 2 were almost exactly the same in terms of structure?
I don't know. Is he talking about the Doomsday one versus this
trailer
one?
2 is Doomsday one.
I don't know. I'd have to rewatch them. I will say the last Civil War trailer and the last Batman v Superman trailer, I have I love both of them. I think they're both equally great.
If you're talking about the last trailer that just came out for Batman v Superman, the one you're talking about with Batman up top, then I agree with that tone because it seemed consistent. If you're talking about the Doomsday one, then I disagree entirely. But it just depends on which trailer you're talking about.
I think maybe when he added that word structurally at the end, they're all very similar. Going through, big reveal, fight, done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think yes, to answer his question simply, structurally they were very, very similar. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, Jonathan Peck asks, what actor and director combination that has only worked together once would you like to see make another movie together? That might be hard.
That one's tough.
I need research.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Ask us next week as if it's the first time you've asked us.
All right, Jonathan.
I'm like, crap. I was like, Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
Martin Scorsese and De Niro.
No. That one's tough. Who
directed Charlize Theron and Eon Flux? I want that to
No,
happen
you do
again.
not want that again. That's been a good thing that they haven't worked together.
All right, Brogy asks, will Beetlejuice 2 ever happen, and do you want it to?
Well, funny you ask. There's been reports going out today that we don't know if it's apparently there was something that said that Tim Burton confirmed that both not Johnny Depp, Michael Keaton, Johnny Depp for everything he's in.
Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice 2 are combined
shared
together.
universe. Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder are going to return. Is what they said that Tim Burton confirmed, and that Warner Brothers was going to fast track it, and it was going through. But then there was another report saying that was not true. Okay. So we don't know. We just know that they've been talking about doing Beetlejuice 2 for 2 years ago. It said this is gonna happen. So I think they need to capitalize on it soon because Michael Keaton right now is pretty hot. So I think you get him now.
And also, does this fall under, we talked about this the other day, about the comedy sequels, waiting so long and then having, do you think the underperformance of something like a Zoolander 2 or kind of the mild reaction to Dumb and Dumber 2, Vacation, do you think that's going to affect Beetlejuice 2?
No, because I think Beetlejuice 2, even though it has comedic elements, still has that kind of supernatural thing to it as well. It's very funny, but it's not just straight up comedy. I could see where there'd be some reservations, but you're also getting back, with Tim Burton, who's a bit different and Beetlejuice a little bit more beloved, I think, than Zoolander. I know, Josh. I'm sorry.
No. I'm watching you kind of backpedal a little bit, you're trying to vouch for it.
For Zoolander?
No, for Beetlejuice. You're finding ways to vouch for it, which kind of goes back towards Dennis things that I don't want to see a Beetlejuice 2. He's such a beloved character. It's been 20 plus years since we've seen Beetlejuice. The comedy sequels aren't working, and I love the early Beetlejuice. If Michael Keaton comes back and it's not, and everybody's going to walk out of the theater saying the same exact thing, wasn't as good as the first. It's pretty good, but it wasn't as good as the first. Why do that to Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I don't know, just something about it. I want to see Beetlejuice come back.
I want to see Michael Keaton. I want to see Michael Keaton in another juicy comedy role like Beetlejuice. Edward Beetlehands. Come on, guys.
Edward Beetlehands.
Edward Beetlehands.
All right. Do you have another one?
Yes.
All right, Macuga.
I got another one. Mulder on Mushrooms asks, do you think fans measure box office dollars as a measure of success too much instead of a film's own merits?
Sometimes when people want to defend a movie, they point to, everyone knows I hated Transformers Age of Extinction or whatever, and that's fine if you liked it or not, but when a fan comes up to you and goes, but it made so much money, and it's that's great. It made a lot of money. Right. A lot of people enjoyed it. That's totally fine. But nothing about the box office success tells me if it's a good movie or not.
I think fans actually, for the majority, are the ones who are saying, what you just said in response, because I've seen comments to where someone like, well, it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then fans jump in before we do it. It's like, that doesn't mean shit. It was terrible. Yeah. Like, fans will call. I've seen, I can't remember what it was, where I had something against, well, I do have something against Michael Bay as a director. He's awful. But he's not good. He's not good. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. I'm going to backtrack that, and I'll say that for as far as story goes and as far as characters go, he blows things up and makes things look cool. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
But what I will say, though, is that I can say something about his movies, and someone goes, well, wait a minute. He's made this movie and that made that amount of money. That just means that he's a successful director. Yeah. It doesn't mean he makes good movies.
Yeah, Michael Bay is an overpaid baseball player. Like, Mark Teixeira can go 1 for 4 all season and still make $28 million a year. Doesn't mean he's a great baseball player. I think some of the greatest movies ever made did terrible at the box office. Goodfellas bombed at the box office. Shawshank Redemption bombed at the box office. These are the ones that we watch nonstop over and over again. Has nothing to do with box office. Now, some other great movies have done really well at the box office, but few and far between. Yeah.
I just like to address one thing here. So there's someone in the chat room. Milton Weber said, I would love Harloff to explain himself whenever he says an actor phones it in. God, that phrase is stupid. I don't. Well,
no, it's not.
It's not
stupid.
stupid at all, actually. But I appreciate the nice words. What I will tell you is that when someone like Julianne Moore, who is on point with her performances normally, then you watch something like Seventh Son. Yeah. Phoning it in means that you're there. The performance is
collecting a paycheck.
You're collecting a paycheck, and you're not as tuned in as you normally are. You're there. You're kind of reading the lines. You know who has been phoning it in lately? Bruce Willis. De Niro's been back on track, I think, with Silver Linings Playbook and other stuff too. But Bruce Willis, when you see him in movies, when he just is Bruce Willis and he's not John McClane or he's not this character, he's just Bruce Willis over and over, it means he's saying, great, give me my check, I'm out of here. He's not, they're
just
not.
Use my name, put it on the poster, I'll show up to the press junkets and give me my money.
Right, so phoning it in is a phrase that means I'm just here, great, yeah, sure, boom, I'm done. That's what it means. Thanks for the
Talk
kind
about
words.
a flip of things, right? Phoning it in would be a lot of the Expendables movies, and then you thought Stallone was going to come in and phone in Rocky, and he brought the house down.
Right.
That's the difference. Go look at those two performances, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Or what Christian's talking about.
All right, what's next?
All right, Gabriel Bailey asks, thoughts on the proposal of an at-home box for $150 that allows viewing new released movies for $50 a day for a 2-day rental. This is some new news that came out today. So, thoughts on a proposal of an at-home box that you pay $150 for that allows viewing new released movies for $50
Yeah,
so it's upfront.
It's just,
so basically, like, you don't go to the theaters and you just have this
invite your
box.
friends over.
There's so much content out there now with movies in the theaters, with television shows, with video games, people watching stuff on YouTube. There's so much going on. You're not going to get someone to pay $150 for a box that I'm assuming can only do this one thing. You know, I have an Xbox One. I can do a bunch of things. I can play video games. I can watch Netflix. I can, watch movies on demand, all this stuff. And then paying $50
for 2 days for one movie.
Yeah,
you can go see 5 movies for $10 in a day.
I just don't think it's financially viable.
Way too much, and it takes away. You're going to spend that much, then I'd rather spend the money and just have the theater experience.
Well, get an Uber to come pick me up, take me to the theater. You know what I mean?
I mean, on the flip though, think about it like this: people are spending $50 to see a UFC fight and $50 to see a boxing match.
Yeah, but that's like an event. You get all these people over. Usually, when you want to watch a movie, most of your friends aren't going to come over to that.
And in the case of the UFC or something, even boxing, you get a couple matches up top besides just one, because if you're paying $50 and let's say you $50, you're doing that in the beginning of September, then you're going to have some movies that you're just like, ugh, I just pay this money for. At least you get a couple knockouts in the pre-fights.
And also too, in like events like that, I'm just going back on my own words. It's like you can sit around and eat nachos and like talk to your buddies.
Right.
You watch a movie for $50, you can't sit around and do that.
You're like, shut up! I just paid $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about how bad you would feel. If you see a bad movie at the theater, it's like $12, $13 at least here in LA. Imagine if you spent $50 on a movie at home. You're like, ugh.
I mean, you get a bunch, but still.
You can only bonus is you can pause it when you have to go to the bathroom.
True.
Very true. Tobias Kirby asks, should the Russos direct a Bond movie? They seem to have the spy genre nailed.
Oh, that's a good suggestion. I'd be up for it. It looks like Sam Mendes is probably done with after Spectre's his last one, so I'd be down for that.
I am too, but I think they're going to be pretty busy for a long time. But they certainly they have my vote.
I'm with you guys 100%.
Okay, Clark Kent asks, will there be a Collider commentary video on Man of Steel prior to Batman vs. Superman?
We're trying. We're actually, let us know in the comments. So we have a dilemma here. We said we were going to finish the Star Wars original trilogy before Force Awakens. That didn't happen. We just put up the Empire Strikes Back one. Do you guys want us to finish out and do Return of the Jedi first, or do you want us to do Man of Steel before that and then do Return of the Jedi later? Let us know in the comment section or in the chat board.
Yeah, or even on Twitter. Same thing. At Collider Video and hashtag it commentaries. Yeah. So that way we know.
Collider commentaries.
Collider commentaries. Hashtag Collider commentaries, and let us know if you want us to watch Man of Steel first. Empire Strikes Back is up, by the way, so if you haven't watched that, please do that. But yeah, we've been talking about Man of Steel, some other ones, and yes, I've been getting the tweets. We're going to do The Room eventually.
Yes.
Don't worry.
And if you guys could not invite me to that Man of Steel one, that would be awesome.
Uh-oh, don't get yourself into trouble.
Aaron asks, comments on One Direction singer Harry Styles joining the cast of Christopher Nolan's World War II drama Dunkirk.
I don't really know much about One Direction. I don't even
You're
know
not
who
a
this
1D fan?
Over here, he's a One Direction fanatic.
I don't know who this guy is. So
you don't know who Harry Styles is?
This is what I tell people about pop culture. Especially
Grandpa,
pop culture,
go to sleep.
Pop culture music, too. Yeah. You could have the entire, I guess it's a group, right? Like 3 or 4 of them. They could be sitting here in the studio right now, and I have no clue what they look like. I have no idea. So I have no opinion on that. I don't know if they can
great
act
hair
or
and
act.
tight pants.
I got my tight pants.
I'll just tell you real quick. Overwhelming response for Man of Steel.
Okay.
Overwhelming.
Like so looks like we'll probably be doing that before Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, Dunkirk is one of the few World War II things we haven't seen done yet, and it's an amazing, amazing part. If you guys are World War II historians or you know anything about World War II, it's one of those battles that needs to be really done cinematically. If you're going to throw Harry Styles in, I hope he can act. I've always said this, and I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but it's really easy to go from singing and being a rock star to acting because it's way easier to act than it is to make a very successful pop song. Hence why we've never really seen an actor transition from acting to singing sans Eddie Murphy, who did Party All the Time.
Bruce Willis.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Party all the time.
Party all
I
the
listened
time.
to that in
It's
my car the
amazing.
other day, by the way. It was great. It's a great highway song.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Don't judge me. I don't care.
So yeah, throw Harry Styles in. He's British, and it's a British battle, so I don't see a problem in it. It's One Direction, man.
If Nolan thinks he can do it, then I'll trust Nolan. But I'm not going to say that a kid can act. I've never seen him act, but all these kids are doing it. You got Jonas just did it in that movie that came out in Sundance.
The GOAT.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. Just great.
Great.
All right, let's do 2 more.
Okay, Kevin asks, what's your favorite movie quote that you actually use in conversation?
If you're going to go Star Wars, it's stay on target. Stay on target. That's all the time.
Stay on target.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, killing me, Smalls is good.
Time, yeah,
that's good. Dan?
I don't know. I have to think about it. It'd probably be something from like Mean Girls or something
Yes.
like that. That movie has so many quotes.
Really quotable. For some reason, I always whisper into weird people's ears, I wish the sisters never got the best of Andy Dufresne. Nobody really gets it. What are you talking about?
People at the supermarket.
Yeah. Wish I could tell you the sisters never got. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and the classic. Come on.
Natasha, do you have any movie quotes that you use actually?
I do, and not very often, but from Lord of the Rings, the first film, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Nice.
Thou shalt not pass.
Is that a Vegas term? Or? You shall not pass. By the way, you want to see the best Gandalf impression ever? Dennis had mentioned last night we did the celebrity impression dating game for the Return of Schmoes, and Jamie Costa was in the celebrity impression dating game and did 5 different impressions, and
It
one
was
of them
amazing.
was Gandalf. It's great. Go and check that out. It's on the Schmoes channel. It's awesome.
All right, last one. Calvin Johnson asks, Leo and JJ.
Megatron?
Yeah.
He's on Twitter.
Leo and
Had a rough
JJ would
month.
be a good team up. Who else would y'all like to see team up? Tom Hardy and Ben Affleck, maybe?
Yes, that is a good one. Or I mean, Ben Affleck directing Fassbender would be great too.
I would have Martin Scorsese and Fassbender. I think that would be a good mix.
I'd love to see like Rachel McAdams and Tina Fey. Like because Rachel McAdams never gets comedy chops. She's a funny girl. Mean Girls, she was hysterical.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for today's show. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank the people at the table with me. Josh, where can people find you?
You can find me at Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me here on Collider doing the Arrow recap show as well as The Walking Dead. And you guys can check out my YouTube channel. Big things coming. The Josh Macuga show coming April 4th, as well as some big announcements coming here on Collider.
Yes. Kristian, where can people find you?
Who is your daddy and what does he do? You can find me at Kristian Harloff, both Twitter and Instagram. I just mentioned before. Please go and check out the Schmoes Know the Return Phase 6. It was a lot of fun. 2 hours. Thank you to Dennis and Jonathan and Adam for really making the show run well last night. I would love to get your guys' opinion. And the Schmoedown movie trivia. It starts on March 25th. Our first match, John La Cosa Nostra Campia going up against Dangerous Dan Merle, the Screen Junkies movie fights champion. It's going to be a great match. Make sure you check it out.
Natasha, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Collider videos. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget, we have Mailbag, me, Kristian, and Tasha. We got mailbags on Saturday and Sunday. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next Monday.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.